won't believe who I've managed to catch up with here at the Harrogate Crime Festival, but it's none other than the CW chair and also CWA chair and the author of the upcoming spin-off series of Bond books, Mr. Vaseem Khan. How you doing?
Hi everybody. Shaken, not stirred.
Honestly, this is absolutely amazing. So as a little bit of backstory, some of you out there will know that I'm a crime writer, and the principal job at the moment in the crime writing world is the chair of the Crime Writers Association, which is held by yourself.
Well, it's nice of you to say it. I'm not sure if it is the principal job in the crime writing. I mean, look, the CWA is a 70-odd year institution. It's the largest group of crime writers in the UK, and you know it's an honour to serve as its chair. But it's much more about promoting writing, promoting crime writing, promoting thriller writing, promoting mysteries, because it is now the largest genre of books in the publishing landscape.
That is amazing, and it's lovely. So. Harrogate Festival, where we are now, is a bit like, it's like school trip day for authors, isn't it? Like,
it is.
But there's no teachers. We're just rampaging about all over the place.
We are. I mean, it is the biggest crime fiction festival in the world now in terms of sheer numbers, and you've got people coming to this small town in Yorkshire, to the Old Swan Hotel, which for the crime fiction aficionados will know that it's the place where Agatha Christie turned up after she vanished back in, I think it was 1926 or 28. And nobody knew what had happened to her. There was a UK-wide person hunt for her and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. I think Arthur Conan Doyle, creator of Sherlock Holmes, he found either a handkerchief or a pair of her knickers or some weird and wonderful thing that he found, and he gave it to a psychic to try and track her down. And the psychic was useless, of course, so she didn't figure out where she was. But this is where Agatha Christie finally turned up, and for the last 20-odd years, there's been this festival here for crime and thriller writing, and it's just grown and grown and grown until it's this massive, as you've very eloquently put it, rampaging beast.
It is, yeah. It's and this is the final sort of day-ish. There's stuff going on tomorrow, but we've been here since Thursday, I think.
You've been here since drinking since Thursday. Yeah, he's just you can't see this, but he's just put down 2 other beer glasses.
We're all having a good time. But I'm absolutely buzzing, man, for you with what's going on with the Q series, the Q spin-off series. Quantum of Menace is coming out in, I think you said, is it about a year and a half, something like that?
So thank you. So I am writing a series for the Ian Fleming estate based on Q, the iconic character, the head of Q branch, known as Major Boothroyd in the actual Bond books, and the aim is to take Q out of MI6. So he's been forced out of MI6. He has to go back to his hometown, which is a village on the cusp of change, and his childhood friend Pete Napier is murdered, and Pete Napier is one of the world's leading quantum computer scientists, and the police think it was suicide, but Q suspects there's something more to this, and therefore we follow him through this investigation. And I came up with the title of Quantum of Menace because he's a quantum computer scientist, but also because of the film title of Quantum of Solace. So I'm very pleased that they allowed me to keep that title.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. That's amazing, because you very rarely get to keep your original title on things.
No.
Let alone in the Bond world.
Authors come in. So this is insight into the publishing world. You know, I'm 10 books into my career, and I think I've only ever been allowed to keep one of those titles before. And you walk in all happy and optimistic that I've come up with this great title, and you show them the title, and then they punch you in the face and they say, "Shut up! You know, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
We've got a sales and marketing team here. They know much better than." No, I'm kidding, of course. I mean, they're really lovely in publishing. What they say is, "Oh, we absolutely love your title. We absolutely love it, but."
But is always it's always the word. So why for yourself? Well, why Q?
Well, partly this was the Ian Fleming estate and Ian Fleming Publications wanting to broaden out the Bond world. I mean, Bond is an iconic franchise. You know, we've got films, we've got other spin-offs. We've got Young Bond written by Charlie Higson. We've got Kim Sherwood writing non-007 Bonds. So there's a huge appetite around the world for characters that fit within this universe, but they've never expanded that universe with Q, who is of course a huge fan favourite. And you know, they approached me with this project, and
The Fleming estate approached you.
They approached me, and because they'd read some of my earlier stuff and they felt it would fit the kind of tone that they want to lean into, and they want to lean into. So it's not going to be another Bond thriller spy novel. It's going to be murder mysteries with Q as the protagonist. But when we got into discussion, what we agreed was that this wasn't going to be a caricature of Q. It was going to be a real person, the real Q for whom I would create this backstory, and we would also we would have some dry humour in the books, but there'd also be pathos and there'd also be some serious elements to create a clever mystery. That's my aim, because Q is a clever, intelligent person, and so we don't want sort of bumbling buffoon type character. We want a serious man who's lost a childhood friend, and he wants to solve this, and he's got the brain power to solve this.
This is awesome. And does the Bond world feel a bit? It must feel a bit like a sandbox that's already loved.
It's a sandbox with a whole bunch of guardians sitting around it, because you can do certain things, and other things, of course, the Ian Fleming estate tell you what are the parameters within which you can operate. But to be fair, they've been absolutely wonderful to work with. They've given me a lot of creative license with this, and I think my optimism springs from the fact that I'm a huge Bond fan. I always have been, and I grew up with the Roger Moore versions of Bond, and I used to watch them with my dad, who loved Roger Moore to bits. And now I look at the fact that I'm writing these books, and as I'm writing, I'm thinking, you know what, I'm crafting a murder mystery here, but I've also got one eye on this enormous Bond fan base around the world, and I want to do justice to their expectations too. I want to make sure they understand what kind of book this is before they buy it, but I also want to make sure that there are some nods to the Bond universe that they love. So Bond will make a guest appearance in these books. It will be a very small guest appearance, but he will be referenced, he will make guest appearances. And for me, as a British Asian who's grown up in this country, who's born in this country, who's grown up loving Bond, to be able to physically be sitting in front of a laptop and writing this iconic character is just so cool. It's mind-blowing to me as well, and I'm just hoping that the Bond fan base embraces what we're doing with these books.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure they will. I'm so thrilled and excited. We've had a chat before. If you would come on the podcast, Really 007 podcast, to talk. I know. Will your Q say Really 007?
I've avoided saying that for now, but I'm only halfway through writing Quantum of Menace, so I'm not guaranteeing that he won't say that. So one thing I'm trying to make sure is that he's neither Desmond Llewellyn, neither Ben Whishaw.
Yeah.
Because people are very wedded to those screen images already.
Of course.
So it doesn't give me much room for manoeuvre. So I'm trying to be somewhere in the middle there, where we can take elements of both, so that there's some familiarity for whoever reads these books. But above and beyond everything else, what I want is for people to enjoy a complex murder mystery where they feel that there is a real intellectual challenge, because that's Q. That's Q. Q's not a guy who spends his whole day making gadgets. That was his job role. That's his work, and of course we will lean into some of that tech. But he's also a real person with a real background and a real history. So one of the characters, and this will be an exclusive first reveal, one of the characters in the books is going to be his estranged father. His name is Mortimer Boothroyd, and he's a retired professor of Roman history, which is another passion of mine, Roman history. So that relationship between Q and his very starchy, prickly father is something that allows me to humanize Q in a way that, with very limited screen time and very limited book appearances, has never been done before.
That is amazing, and thank you for sharing that with us. We're gonna, with your blessing, please come on the podcast. We'll have a proper natter with the rest of the guys.
I will be more than delighted to come on once we get near a publication.
Thank you very
much. We can try and convince all of your lovely viewers to pick up, pre-order some of these copies.
Oh, absolutely.
It is available for pre-order even now if you like to Google Quantum of Menace.
With that really nice holding image that they've cooked up as well.
The publishers, Bonnier, have been absolutely wonderful. They've really worked hard to try and create an iconic look for this new series, and I'm sure they're going to do lots of marketing as we get closer and closer. Publication date is October 23rd, next year, which is 2025. But as I said, pre-orders are available, and pre-orders always help, guys. They always help because they allow booksellers to immediately see, oh look, there's a lot of pre-interest in this book, so we will promote it even further. And my wish is the same wish that Ian Fleming famously had, which is for the Bond canon to be read as widely as possible, because I think it continues to give me, and clearly millions and millions of other people who enjoy the Bond films, who enjoy the Bond books, there is something in these iconic characters that has stood the test of time. And so if we can get more and more people to read and enjoy the universe, I think, that's just job done.
Job done. Well, thank you. Last question, favourite gadget?
Favourite
from the series?
Oh, okay. So I think the simple gadgets were the ones that really worked for me, because they did the job that a spy would need them to do in moments of high tension. So some of the later ones became a little bit, I won't use the word outlandish because they're still fun to watch, but they were very impractical. And you saw Bond wandering around the labs and these crazy things happening around
alligators.
Yeah, but you knew that he could never use those.
Yes,
things.
yeah.
But something simple like the watches that he could use to cut through, his
Way
bonds.
cool.
Yeah.
Like they've got like a garrote in there, off one of the bezels.
And one of them had a fax machine, a teletype machine.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, fair enough. That's probably not very practical, but
I always thought about the evidence of that, like oh great, the little thing that's
but
left.
Stuff in watches that can get you out of bindings and bonds, because he's going to be tied up quite a lot, isn't he? Bond,
well,
in
yeah.
his various adventures. So that kind of stuff I thought was quite good.
Oh, thanks, mate. Well, listen, I can't thank you enough, mate.
No,
I really
you guys.
can't,
thank
man.
You, and thank you everybody for
this
listening.
man, everyone wants to have a chat with this man this weekend, and he's taken time out of his schedule to come and have a chat with me in a fake library. Some made-up library in a corner of the hotel.
Books are real.
Go pre-order Quantum of Menace and support what this man is doing. He's one of the real good eggs in the literary world.
So is this chap. We've known each other for years.
Yeah. Peace and love, everyone. Bye-bye.